it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for January 2023. So on Friday, January 6th, we have our very first full moon taking place in 2023. It is taking place in its place of power in Cancer energy. This will be taking place at 6:08 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is going to be taking place at 16 degrees 22 minutes. A true indication that we are halfway through what this particular energy cycle is and began about a year and a half ago. So think back to maybe the summer of 2021 and take a positive perspective on all that has changed, where the home, where the family dynamic is concerned, where our safety, security, stability has been highlighted, where the changes to our, I'm going to say, career and finances have taken place, and what has really transpired, even more importantly, since about June and July of 2022. Reason being, we have this Cancer energy definitely illuminating for us, bringing something into our awareness on what it is that we have to let go of as far as emotional processing goes. So let's break it down. First of all, the full moon is always a completion point, a releasing point, a full circle of events, of information, of details that began under the new moon in Cancer, again, back in June, July timeframe of 2022. But this is at 16 degrees, which means that, like I said, we have to rewind about a year and a half ago to actually see where the beginnings of this particular cycle has taken place. And we have about a year left with these full moon and new moon in Cancer energies to go before we near the ending degrees of this particular cycle. And of course, we prepare to start fresh again. So Cancer energy, first of all, is a water sign. It is very emotional, highly intuitive, a little bit passive aggressive, very protective, very defensive. We have to think about the crab. Of course, the crab is the symbolic animal or totem, if you will, of Cancer energy. And when we actually think about the crab, it looks pretty cranky, looks pretty dangerous, looks pretty, I'm going to say, non-approachable, has a hard, tough outer shell. But what we know is that that shell really isn't that tough. They aren't really that cranky. They aren't really that crabby, if you will. They have a very soft and mushy interior that they go to great lengths, of course, in order to protect, in order to keep safe from the outside world. Now, Cancer energy is very focused on the home, on the family dynamics within the home. This is where we talk about the inner child. This is where we talk about the mother role as far as nurturing that inner child goes. And we also talk about the feminine divine energies as far as the generation of family goes and where generational trauma is deep-seated in our DNA. We want to understand that Cancer energy is our private life. It is our domestic lives, if you will. It is our attachments to our home, to our upbringing, to our family unit. It is essentially where it is that we have our roots set very firmly in the ground and the environment in which we were actually raised. It gives us and offers us a good foundation of our home base, regardless of your upbringing, whether it was a positive one or negative one. Whatever it is that you were exposed to within the first 7 years of your life has essentially become your unconscious programming. And we are discovering here through the ascension process that we have to unlearn pretty much everything that we were taught in order to strip away the egoic avatar operating system and actually get down to the nitty-gritty of our cellular DNA, our light codes, if you will, really remembering from a soul and spiritual level who it is that we are, where it is that we came from, what it is that we're here to do. So there's a lot of focus with the full moon in Cancer on the home, the family dynamic, on boundaries, maybe where it is that they've been tested or beat down altogether, where new ones need to be created and implemented in order to protect ourselves. Think of the boundaries as that, hard shell that the crab has in order to protect the ooey gooey mushiness of the insides, where emotions are concerned, where our inner realm is concerned. And because we are kind of reflecting back to June, July of 2022, first and foremost, that is kind of the timeline that we have to examine all the highs and lows and everything in between of some of the ever-changing dynamics that we've seen in our home environment with the family members of our home environment and the family dynamics with where it is that, guess what, maybe we've been overextending ourselves, pouring too much of our own energy and involving ourselves with other people's lives, all for a great cause of distracting ourselves from doing what it is that we need to be doing for ourselves. This comes down to taking care of ourselves, nurturing ourselves, and of course other people, but not at the expense, if you will, of our own health and wellness. So with the full moon set up in this Cancer energy, we know that the sun is over there in Capricorn energy. And very, very interestingly enough, sitting very, very close, very much next to Mr. Mercury, who is retrograde in Capricorn energy as well. So the sun shines a bright light on the Capricorn energy, in Earth energy. And what we get with Cancer versus Capricorn, first of all, they both rule over safety, security, stability. Now, Cancer wants that safety, security, stability in the home life, in the private life, in our emotional realm, while Capricorn wants that safety, security, and stability in our public lives, in our career, in our finances, in our reputation. So the sun shining a bright light in Capricorn energy is saying, okay, what do we have to make peace with as far as our karmic chapters, karmic spiritual life lessons go, in order to wrap that up, take responsibility for our actions, for what has transpired, stay accountable to ourselves, recognize where it is that we have to boss up into new roles and responsibilities and actually start building something new, a new foundation that is going to support our long-term goals, our long-term needs. And with Mercury kind of tucked in there, we are very reflective. We're actually more reflective than we are looking forward at this point in time. And a lot of the answers that we are seeking as far as how we're supposed to move forward and what it is that we're supposed to be kind of pursuing at this time, a lot of those answers will be found by looking back and processing a lot of the topics and themes, a lot of the tough love life spiritual lessons that we've gone through, that we were in survival mode. We didn't actually process. We were just flying by the seat of our pants and just kind of moving through it just to survive the best that we could. And now the floodgates are about to open with this full moon in Cancer. We're about to acknowledge and process a lot of the struggle, a lot of the hardships, a lot of the spiritual life lessons that were thrown at us, especially over the course of the last year and a half. And it is a release that is needed in order to get this off of our heart space and out of our chest space, in order for us to be freed up a little bit lighter, in order for us to be able to move on. So this is really going to kind of show us where it is that things have gotten crazy, where our priorities are all out of whack, and where it is that we have to make a commitment to actually balancing the scales between our home life and our public lives, our family dynamics, our roles and responsibilities, our emotional safety and security, our financial safety and security. And again, a lot of this is going to be looking back. A lot of this is going to be a full review. So not only do we have the sun sitting very close to Mercury retrograde and really kind of, I'm going to say, polarizing the normal full moon energies that we could expect, but we also have Uranus, the great awakener, who likes to shock us and awe us and throw wild card energies at us and unexpected opportunities at us to make a great change. Retrograde still in Taurus energy, but sitting still very close to the true node. And this is going to have a major factor because the moon is making a very harmonious aspect with both Uranus and the true node, which means that in our reflection, in our nostalgia, in our review of looking back, we're going to have some pretty profound aha moments, shifting our emotion, shifting our perception and understanding into rewriting the old circumstances, the old narrative, the old perspective and understanding in order for us to lighten the load in our emotional realm. And just as we kind of release a lot of those heavier weighted thoughts and feelings, we open ourselves up to a brand new shift, a brand new energy where we're focusing our time, energy, and attention on how it is that we're going to move forward. That true node, of course, is our soul path, our destiny point. And it is kind of shaking us up to where it is that we have to go from here. So you'll explore the pros, the cons, and everything's in between when you download the Moon Guide. You should definitely be taking advantage of the Moon Guide and have it assist you in the shadow work that we need to do under these moon events in order to get in alignment with these energies and take full advantage of the ascension process. You will also discover as you move throughout the Moon Guide that this is a very heavily weighted, earth-dominated event. Why? Well, because we have 5 planets in Earth energy. And that means that we're going low and slow. It means that the existential dread, the want, need, and desire to give up, to not want to do this anymore is very strong. It also gives us a huge opportunity to build, to create, to give birth to a brand new foundation where our home, our family dynamics can thrive off of moving forward. It also gives us a new foundation of understanding, of processing events from the past. And it gives us a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to set our sights on the long-term vision, the long-term dream, the long-term goals that we are setting out to actually manifest. So there's a lot going on under this particular moon energy. Of course, if you were Cancer, Libra, Capricorn, or Aries, you're definitely going to be feeling this a little bit more than other people. Or if you have those particular placements in your chart around the 16 degree of Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, you're definitely going to feel this particular moon event a little bit more intensely than someone who does not have any personal placements at that particular degree. So I would say be cautiously aware, first of all, of your emotions. Be cautiously aware of whether or not you're acting a little bit more defensive than normal. I would say to definitely pay attention to where your inner child is asking for a little bit more time, energy, love, and attention. I would say pay attention to the mother role. Maybe that's your relationship with your mother. Maybe that's you as a mother. Maybe that is just bringing into your awareness where it is that you have to maybe nurture, nourish, and mother your inner child a little bit more. What does that mean? It means being the person that you needed as a child. We all were in a situation where we were just hoping that somebody was going to swoop in and save us. And if you haven't realized it yet, you should definitely bring into your awareness that your mission is to become the person that you needed as a child. And a lot of this has to do with breaking that hard exterior down, that crusty crab shell down, and getting very real, raw, and vulnerable about what it is that you are guarded about, what it is you're hiding, what it is you're defensive about, where it is that you're harboring some heavy, weighted feelings due to the home and the family dynamic, and maybe some of the changes that, were really forced upon your home, upon those relationships that you wouldn't have chosen for yourself. And understand that if you are in a situation where there's been some very dramatic shifts in your home and family environment, that those are soul contracts. Those are spiritual life lessons. And maybe sit down and examine where those soul contracts needed to end or needed to change in a certain dynamic in order for you to grow, in order for you to be freed up from some roles, some responsibilities, some karmic debt, if you will, to really go out and build something new that you wouldn't have been able to build with that particular attachment constantly being a factor in your plans. So I feel like this is going to be a revelational period for many of us. I feel like the release that this full moon in Cancer is asking for us to do is going to be a huge one, a huge shift in the heart space. Pay attention to your heart chakra, to your chest space, to the ascension symptoms that are taking place in your physical body due to the influx of energy coming in around this full moon in Cancer. It is likely going to be very heavy, likely going to be very weighted, tattered with roles and responsibilities and this attachment issue, this attachment focus. But all of this is really revealing where it is that we are holding on too dearly to some old aspects that we've outgrown and where it is that we need to open up, free ourselves to embracing the change that is knocking on our door. So whichever way this manifests for you, I just hope that you have the awareness, you have the level of enlightenment to see that nothing is happening to you, that everything is happening for you. Do the deep dive, do the shadow work, do the inner work necessary in order to release yourself from some old karmic cords that are weighing you down and preventing you from actually moving forward. I send you nothing but love. I hope you have a beautiful full moon, and we'll talk to you soon.